What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Check Swing Podcast with myself, and of course, the brains and brawn of the situation. My man, Coach Santa, down in
Baltimore, having big fun.
What's going on, Coach Santa?
You
See, he even sound like he from Philly. Sound like he from Philly. Oh, what a week it has been! What a week it has been. We got a lot to talk about today. I moved my camera a little bit. I'm gonna keep looking over here, but it's over here. We got a lot to talk about today. But we are going to try to keep it quick because there's some brooms that might get used tonight. Hope not, but some brooms might get used tonight, and we want to give you the opportunity to see every second of that action because we know you're gonna be watching. But anyway, like I said, welcome back to the Check Swing Podcast. We gotta talk about the Eagles. We gotta talk about the Phillies. We gotta talk about we got some fun videos for you too. But before we get started, I'd like to ask my folks how they been. So, Miguel,
sir,
how you been, man?
a little perturbed, but not for the reasons that you may think. So there's something going on in
Should I
Baltimore.
even ask?
You don't have to ask. I'm gonna tell you anyway.
Cool.
There's a phenomenon going on in Baltimore that no one told me about. That's called pistachio tide. So apparently there's like this fluorescent green like algae that's at the bottom of the harbor, and it makes the entire city of Baltimore smell like raven jizz and bunghole. It's the most I've never smelled anything quite like it, but it's a rotten egg. I yeah. It's like everybody for like 5 square miles is boiling eggs.
This is the first time this has happened since you've been down there?
Since I've been down here, yeah. So and apparently there was like 25,000 of a specific type of fish that have all died. So it's the algae on top of these dead fish, and because it hasn't rained in like a month, the water is really low, so the stench just hits you like right away.
Man.
Yeah. When I got off the bus on Monday to go to work, I'm like, damn, what the, And then I'm looking at everyone because where I get off at is I would say is the public toilet for downtown city Baltimore. So usually there's fecal matter already down there. But this was a little bit more fresh, and yeah. So I was quite perturbed about that. And then on top of that, the Phillies laying the egg, so I guess it was kind of apropos.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll get into that. We will get into that. But first, do we want to start off with a video?
Oh, you want to start off with one?
Just to I thought maybe that's what you had said earlier. I wasn't sure. I can start with mine if you like.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, if you are close friends with me, I've come across this video, and you probably received this video from me in some way, shape, or form late last night, because that's when I came across it. So, if you're one of them people like me that don't immediately go watch the videos that people send you on like Instagram and stuff, I got you covered. All right, I got you covered. This is what I sent you. So here you go. Young fella, look like he in the weight room, getting himself together. Let's see how it turns.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4. We've got millions of free child place holidays available.
Oh my goodness. I just closed that video. I didn't mean to, but
It's the it's the brief distortion of his face followed by the look to the right, like what just happened, and then the walk around, and then him trying to keep himself calm and not cry. That whole sequence, that whole thing.
So this is what I had to play the whole scene out in my head, right? It fell on and hit him, right? He looked over to the right. I think somebody might have been over there, or he thought somebody was over there, and he wanted to see if they saw it. If he saw what happened, because his face was straight. He was boom, he was straight, and no emotion, no nothing. And the fact that right after that he got up, started rubbing on his knot, tells me that the person didn't see what happened, and he wanted to act like he was getting himself ready for his set. And he knew he wasn't even supposed to be messing with that thing anyway.
Oh, you gotta love gym accidents, don't you?
That's why kids of a certain age aren't allowed in the gym. That's why they're not allowed in the gym.
Mhm.
All right. Did you want to go with a video too? I
Yeah,
see.
well, I'll do one. This is apparently a sequence from bare knuckle boxing, which is actually legal.
Oh yeah, it's
In
on
it,
pay-per-view.
yeah, legal, and I didn't know. I'm new to it, so I didn't know this was a thing. But this video kind of gave me some inspiration. Yo, the best comment about it was, "Dude changed races."
Yeah, he did. It's like his whole nationality.
Look, dude, look how quick this punch is. That's all it took. And I think so. There was a couple people that had commented because that's usually like the if it, about an inch or so left or right or up. That's the brain right there, right at the base, and it could have gone in and caused some major damage, but just that alone.
Hey Goose, I think Goose was talking about that video. Rubbing it doesn't
Oh,
make the cream go away. Yo, dude, like you heard the snap. As soon as the dude punched him, you heard the snap. And I knew what it was, but I wasn't expecting his whole culture that had changed.
he
I was
went
like,
from white to
wait,
Asian in 12 seconds.
wow. All right. Let's get into what we don't really want to get into. Really, the whole thing, really, the whole weekend. But we'll start with the Eagles, right?
Mm,
We're not going to stick with it too long because it hurts to talk about, right? We're talking about Eagles Broncos.
yeah,
Second half, they pooped the bed against the Broncos, offensively and defensively. They pooped the bed. First half, they looked pretty good, competitive. Well, did they look pretty good? They were winning. All right, I think they were up, what, 17-3, 10-3, 17-3.
17-3 at the half.
And, you know, kind of confident. Second half starts. Saquon gets a touchdown right away. And then, that was it. That was it.
It was a slow death after. Here's my thing. I'm not distraught. I'm not even worried. You and I have been Eagles fans since we practically been born, or until you figured out what teams you really should be rooting for. That's outside of
So
it.
I take offense to that. I've always been an Eagles fan.
Right. It's the Phillies and the Atlanta Braves that you
I've always been a
experienced
Phillies
betray.
fan. I've always been a
Well, you were a Braves fan too for quite some years, and that's a slight betrayal. Anyway,
division.
Excuse me. You like you like my son. Every time you come back, we snap back with something. You just talk a little bit louder. Ooh, say it with your chest. But I'm not. Every year since eternity, there's always been those one or two of those clunker games. Um, whether it be Jalen just focusing on one receiver, or Jalen fumbles, or Saquon fumbles. There's always that one. Last year, it was the first Monday night game when we could have scored a touchdown and Saquon dropped the ball, and then we lost to Tampa Bay, and then everybody wanted Sirianni fired. Then we pull off 10 in a row. So it's like, I don't know. Catch me worried or concerned in late November, early December. I can't. The last, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years, like, they've been able to kind of put it together. There's always some issues in the beginning, and then they iron it out. So it's like, maybe it's just me, still high off the Super Bowl. I don't know what it is, but I'm not.
I have the confidence that they can figure it out.
Especially with the coaching staff that we have.
I don't have the confidence that they're going to figure it out soon.
Oh, you don't like the fact that Jalen, Saquon, and AJ met and had a meeting of the minds?
I do. I think that's important for that to happen. And then I hope they met with the coaching staff after that, if necessary. Mm-hmm. Like maybe there was an internal strife between the three of them, or the two, as people seem to probably think.
You say between.
Between, yep, between. See, the one thing I disagree with you, Miguel, is you said they had a clunker game. To me, they've had 5. Right, they're 4-1, right? 3, 4-1. They've had 5 clunker games. They just happen to have won 4 of them.
But you could say that about last year. They had about 8 or 9 clunker games, and they won them all. The only games that weren't clunkers were the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl. They won those clean and outright.
They had their struggles, but you're going to have those. But the clunker games for them, you're right. They did have the games last year. They would have the difference is the defense. Right. The difference is the defense. And I'm not and I don't mean to say like the defense isn't playing well. They're probably playing as well. They're not playing as well as they did last year, but they're still playing well. They're not getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. These quarterbacks are getting a lot of time. They get, there's no fear in there compared to last year. Last year they had some better linemen. They were able to get some pressure. But I feel like every game has had their clunker. Like the first half first half against the Rams was their clunker. Second half against the who they just played, the Broncos, was their clunker. Second half against the Cowboys was a clunker. The Chiefs game was pretty solid back and forth. There wasn't really a clunker situation there, but then there was the Bucks game. Was this the second half of the Bucks game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we came out with the block punt and then scored a touchdown immediately, and then it kind of stalled after that.
Yeah, second half against the Bucks was a clunker.
But
first half against the Rams was a clunker.
But isn't that like a sign that like take the first game of the year, right? You lose Jalen Carter for the first, he's ejected. So had he played that game, and I know it's like, hindsight is 2020, whatever, but it's like, had he played that game, I think that game would have been drastically different.
Quite possibly.
So that 24-20 game. And when you look back on it, like remember, nobody scored the second half.
But let me ask you this, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot with this one. What have you seen in the last 4 games from Jalen Carter and the defense that makes you think that first game would have been a lot different?
Well, my only concern now would be the fact that Jalen Carter is nursing a shoulder injury, and I think that's really what's happening. Why you're not getting the rush and stuff like that. So, um, I think it's more the defensive mind of Fangio finding ways. And I think some of it is trial and error right now because, again, you do have pretty much an all-new secondary. You got a couple rookies at your linebacking core with Campbell. And Nakobe Dean's coming back from an injury. So it's like there are things there. But I think I have belief in Fangio to work with what he has. Because that's the type. Those are my favorite types of coaches, not the ones that have a scheme and they stick to the scheme and they'll trade players away because of their scheme. But when you know that you have certain players that have certain talents, you can hide the faults and hide the flaws and work with your strengths. Right now, last year, we had a strong secondary. We had a strong defensive line. This year, the defensive line isn't what it was last year, and the secondary is all new. That's why I said I think I can't judge it right now until I see a little bit more to see if they can adjust. Because sometimes the unfortunate thing is you don't know what you have until the season progresses. So I think maybe by like mid-November, December, we'll know what we really have, in my opinion. Even with the offensive line, because
I would hope so, because season be darn near over then.
Right. I mean, so remember the year after we won the Super Bowl. The year after we won or went to the Super Bowl, not won, but went in 22. How bad our defense was. How bad, the thing it was the worst defense in football. On third down, on short yardage, and the red zone, everything. And then within a year, you change your coordinator, maybe one or two players, and you win the Super Bowl with one of the best defenses ever. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm more confident now in our coaching versus even the year after we won the Super Bowl, the first one. I'm more confident now in our coaching staff, minus the offensive coordinator. I don't know. I can't tell if the play designs are really Jalen Hurts, huh?
The play designs are Fisher Price.
Yeah,
the most creative plays this season have been those two fake tush push plays.
Well, but remember when they finally opened it up,
the fake Bradley shove and the one to Saquon and the one to Dallas Goedert.